Here, it's $100. Anybody who's starving goes over there, and even panhandling can make the salary you can make in Brazil. So this invasion that is moving to the United States is natural, because Brazilians, as you know, are very tricky. They always want to take advantage of everything. With this idea, any way they can leech on, they will. And Rorion, with this tournament that he did, the UFC, and Royce's victories, and now Rickson, gave a lot of publicity for our jiu-jitsu. I say our, because what I learned from Carlos Gracie was the Japanese version. This, for me, doesn't count. It served as a basis for me to use as a guideline. But the jiu-jitsu that revolutionized the world is the jiu-jitsu that I and my sons practice. And Rorion has the world's biggest academy in the United States. And there is the jiu-jitsu that I like, that I want, and that I created. So everybody wants to go over there. It's only natural. They're starving here. They go over there and open up a school, and with the desire the whole world has to learn jiu-jitsu, what's happening is that anybody who gets there and puts jiu-jitsu over their door will generate a lot of curiosity. Everybody's going to try to learn, even if the jiu-jitsu is not good, but they're going to test it. So they're testing every kind of jiu-jitsu because they want to get where we are. And thank God, they're never going to get there. Everybody now is selling red belts, blue belts, all kinds of degrees and selling certificates. Didn't you see Carlson's son is selling a certificate in the United States? To anyone who buys 4 or 5 of his tapes, he'll give a certificate as an instructor. What else do you want? Is there a bigger con artist than this? And he's a Gracie, son of Carlson Gracie, and they're selling it. The American people who are innocent are excited with the work that Rorion has done with jiu-jitsu, and buy this stuff, think they are going to learn with it. They're actually doing a job in a way good for us, because they are teaching it wrong, and people that learn that way are never going to get where we are. If you look at it this way, it's good. But this kind of dishonesty, I do not approve of. I already elected Rorion my representative in all areas. Not only because he's my oldest son, but because he's the one who is more dedicated to jiu-jitsu for what jiu-jitsu is and the way I like it. He is a level-headed man, and sometimes people call him radical. But I'm more radical than he is. As a matter of fact, I think he's very tolerant. There are things he does that I would not do. But anyway, he's the only man that follows my guidelines the way I want, and that makes me happy. So I elected him a while back, the only individual who can certify instructors while I'm alive and after I die. To the decent citizen, to the executive, to children, to women, and to every weak individual who wants to learn self-defense or martial arts, we will teach everything we know. We will teach everything I know in 50 classes. All you have to do is pay the price and commit to the learning. Let's not confuse this student with those presumptuous ones who want to become teachers, because my own sons, who were born with me and since 3 years old have been doing jiu-jitsu, only got their certificates after practicing their teaching skill for 10 years. Now an individual comes by my academy, spends 5 or 6 months or a year, and then leaves calling himself a jiu-jitsu teacher. There's no way. Because for me, the instructor skill is not the learning of the movements. It's in the philosophy behind the movements. In Brazil, unfortunately, it's very difficult to find someone with the morals that I expect to become an instructor at my academy. That's the problem. Jiu-jitsu in Brazil was only learned through me, because Carlos Gracie never put a gi on to teach class to anyone, especially to his sons. When his children were born, I was already teaching classes instead of him, better than him, and not one of them learned from him. So this is the deal. To know jiu-jitsu is one thing. Be able to pass it on is another. I wish the children of Carlos were able to put up with my radical approach and my demanding, exaggerated, and honest way of working. For convenience and other reasons, as time went by, they moved on and opened their own schools, teaching their own way. If they could not keep up with me, with my working habits, my way of thinking, imagine everyone else. Royce, who said that the best in the family was my youngest daughter because she could get anything out of me while the others couldn't. Every teacher of Jiu-Jitsu that does not have my certificate is not a Jiu-Jitsu teacher, because I know that they do not teach the stand-up self-defense, either because they don't know it or because they think it's too much work. The ones in the United States should continue with Horion and his academy, because they are not going to find anywhere else what they can find there. I owe everything to Jiu-Jitsu. I was a weak kid, temperamental, nervous, and with complexes. I couldn't stand for someone to even look at me on the street. I wanted to be courageous, and I thought that to be courageous, I shouldn't be afraid to fight. What happened is that when I learned Jiu-Jitsu, I stopped fighting. I learned to believe in myself and became a more tolerant kid. I'm apparently a tolerant man because the self-control that Jiu-Jitsu gave me was such that today I come across as a saint. When the people start to compliment me very much, I usually tell them that I'm the worst individual that I've ever met. I'm like the devil. I have all the bad qualities that you can imagine. But thanks to Jiu-Jitsu, to the confidence that it instilled in me, I believe in myself so much that I think it would be unfair for me to even raise my voice to someone. Because the sense of security is so great that I think it would be unfair to take advantage of it. So, Jiu-Jitsu changed me morally and emotionally in so many different ways that my gratitude to Jiu-Jitsu is tremendous. That is why I'm a fanatic for it, and I love my students because when I teach, I fulfill myself through my student. I want to see him just like me, morally and physically. Because what you see sometimes is an individual that considers himself courageous, fighting and beating people up, while for me, every person that fights all the time is a coward. He is afraid. He is insecure. That's why he fights. Because a man at peace, confident, with or without Jiu-Jitsu, with or without the strength, when he is confident in himself morally, he dominates the adversary with his moral strength, not with his physical power. Physical power is a complement for when a person is not morally evolved. He will rely on the physical strength. So Jiu-Jitsu for this kind of person is a great equalizer. If today I come across as a nice guy, a calm, friendly, decent individual, I owe it all to Jiu-Jitsu, my friends.